evening, everyone. So welcome back to the Bharat Connect's next round of panel discussion. Today, we are going to be discussing about what performance tools are you using in your call center platform to enhance customer experience. I'm sure we have discussed many different times about the tools and the technologies and what are the different techniques that we can use to enhance the contact centers in general. So this time we are going to look a little bit more detail in terms of the tools and how it can directly impact. And so to discuss that, we have a couple of panelists with us today. One of the panelists, the third panelist, Ankur Bansal, is not able to join us today because of health reasons. So we will continue our discussion with our two of our panelists. So let me introduce the topic itself first, and then I'll introduce the panelists that we have here to help us understand this complex topic. So there are the customer facing representatives are most important part of the customer experience puzzle. They influence about 70% of the outcomes of customer experience. So the 70% goes to that particular effort, meaning that's a significant, right? More than significant. So what we can do, what tool we can use to enable them, right? These reps can be spread across strategy, development, deployment, servicing, support, and operational teams. They can be in any different departments. We all know that. So how do you enhance their performance? What tool do we use to monitor and measure and scale? So that's going to be the discussion for today. I'll share one little experience that I had last month when I was booking my ticket to India. So United Airlines, usually which I fly, so got one of the flight canceled due to mechanical issues on the day of flight. And then, so I had to start very next day. They arranged for a different special flight because flight full of passengers. It was a full flight and they could not accommodate any other way. So they had to put a new flight. So they did that. So we reached India next day, and then so everything started a day later for me, which means usually I go there to 10 days, and if I lose one day, that 10% of my time is gone, my business time. So that's a big thing for me, and I had some plan to meet few customers from the day one. So so I had to mix and match those appointments. So when I called the United Airlines and talked to them, they usually give the best service they can, being whatever the tier one what do you call that, tier one passenger, in terms of their frequent mile program and all that. So I have that status, so they give me that. But then the agent, the first time when I called, the day it was canceled, he could not understand what I was trying to ask. Meaning, I was asking her, I'm going to reach India one day later. Can I start India one day later, right? Because even if it's not one day, if you can make if you have better tickets and after 2 days, that is fine, I can manage. But I want to start a little bit later because I have to catch up with some of my work before I return. She did not understand. She said she looked for all the flights and then said, "Sorry, everything is fine, but you'll have to pay $1,350 or something more dollars. The reason is it is not the airfare; it is the tax, because you're going to fly back in a different route, meaning that different airport has a different tax, and so the tax is something you don't pay. So that is you have to bear it." Said why would I pay if it is not starting from my side, it is, you are the one cost it and you should be wearing it. So they could not clearly understand that. So I said I'm not changing anything, leave it like that. And then after reaching India, I called the same number after a few days, and there's another person picking up the call, and he goes through my log, and then he says, okay, let me see what I can do. And then he gives me a ticket for after 2 days, I guess. So he booked me a ticket, and without anything that, like, I have to pay out of pocket and the tax or whatever, and then he's able to book the ticket. So I was wondering, I'm still writing my review form for that to understand. I'm very curious, what made that day one agent to give me that feedback of I had to pay for it. There is no way that they can pay. And then the next time when I call, that agent is able to do it. Right. So in fact, first agent said she even reached out to her manager and all that. They could not approve. The second agent did not even bother to talk to anybody else. And he said it's absolutely possible. I'm just not sure what happened. I'm thinking maybe there are some tools that could be used in this scenario where the information is not properly passed on to the agent, or that enables them to make that kind of a decision. It could be, right? So you never know, because the first time I called is almost on the day when it happened. And then the next call I made almost after a week. So maybe the within that week they have that information available to the agents, so they make that kind of a decision. It's possible, right? So the tool in this scenario, could be significant difference, because at the end of the day, any company, right, want to keep their customers happy, right? Without the customer, no company exists. So it's as simple as that. So why would a company have somebody and answer and then not keep their customer happy? It doesn't make sense, right? So if at all you're doing it, why not you do it with the right tool and the right technology and everything? So let's jump into this discussion. Let me introduce our panelists today to hear to help us. So Jesu is one of our panelists here. So thank you very much for being here. So Jesu has more than 21 years of experience handling various strategic and operational roles. He has built and managed turnkey solutions for clients addressing customer experience, omni-channel customer engagement, process automation, knowledge management, knowledge engineering, and data analytics. He currently serves as co-founder of Stratforge, a deep tech AI company looking at transforming the enterprise tech ecosystems. Earlier, he has had stint with Nitani and Slash Support, E4E, Business Solutions, and CSS Corp. So we are delighted to have you as part of our panel. We look forward to have a deep conversation with you today, sir. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Uttam, and thank you for inviting me as part of this panel. Looking forward to talk and share and hear out all the questions. Yes.
Sure. Yeah. And the next panelist is Prakash Sambandam. So Prakash serves as CEO of PayHuddle Solutions, a leader in the testing and certification space, addressing the needs of the entire payment ecosystem. PayHuddle works some of the leading brands. PayHuddle works with some of the leading brands in the world with customer across 26 countries. That's a big achievement, I guess. Prakash has more than 25 years of experience in building and managing high-performance teams with the core focus of customer delight. He believes in customer experience being a part of every activity that an organization does. He believes in the adage, usability and simplicity over everything else. Prakash, we are super delighted to have you as a part of this conversation, and we look forward to hear your views and opinions. Thank you so much for being here.
My pleasure, Uttam. Thank you so much. Happy to be talking to you on Jesu as well. I'll share what my experience is. Happy to.
Yeah. So we have only two of you. So earlier I prepared this for being three Ankur also. So now I'm going to shuffle some of those discussion points to to both of you, right? So so the first one, both of you can give me your thought process on what do you think about this. So the discussion points, we usually put in few discussion points, so that way we can direct the discussion in terms of what are the main points that we want to cover, so that way the audiences are able to get what they are looking for. At the end, we will have we'll give them 10-15 minutes time to clarify their questions, whatever they may have. So that's how we will do. Okay, so the first discussion point, right, is let us begin with the most fundamental question on this topic. How do you measure the performance of your call center or contact center vis-a-vis customer experience, right? So what measurements have worked and what has failed? So so both of you can share your experience, so.
Sure. I'll start probably. See, from our side, we are a B2B company. We may not have even thousands and millions or 10,000s of customers.
Okay.
We predominantly have banks and payment schemes like MasterCard, Visa, RuPay as our customers. So for us, we use tools which gives us insights into customer experience. Okay, we may not use a lot of tools to understand because we have limited number of customers. When you look at it, probably 100, 200, 300 customers, all enterprise customers. From that angle, we use tools to record the interaction with the customer. That's what we do. And then we do analysis based on the reports from those systems. For instance, we use Zoho CRM for sales management. We use Jira Service Management for customer support. These are the two areas we cover right now. And we see, like you mentioned, that any interaction from to the organization, it could be even a mail to the finance department asking for the invoice, for instance. So how we respond to them, what tone we use with them, everything matters for us. So we are very, very careful about it. Being a limited number of things, we can do it manually. The simplest rule we have it when it comes to a customer support is any which is not solved in 2 email interactions goes for a call. Simple. That's what we do. Because it's very frustrating to keep on sending mails about a topic. And then especially in our business, they are in the tail end of rolling out their product. The product, it's not during development they use our product. They use our product to roll it out for testing and certification and roll out the product in the market. So everybody is in the waiting stage. So they are not interested in saying with an SLA of 5 days, just hold on for 3 days, I'll come back to you, guys, doesn't work here. Yeah. So when there are even more than 2 mails on a particular topic, we tell them just get on a call, get the problem solved. That's how we approach. To answer your question about quality and performance, what we do is we look at the mail interaction in the first place, or be it a chat. The support manager sits and looks at each interaction. We may not have not more than 20 or 30 requests a day, but they're all completely technical in nature. It's not that they have a very simple query to be solved just like that.
Yeah.
It's all more analysis of logs, analysis of tests, and so on. So we have to move. Of course, we have L1, L2, and L3 stages. L1 is more the first touch point for the customer. The L1 guy should not take a lot of time to decide whether it is an L1 issue or an L2 issue. So we try to move things from one stage to another faster. That's where we come from. We look at the interaction, what they have, and based on, see, of course, there is a script saying about whenever there is a customer support, we ask for the basic details, give me the logs, the logs will be found here, kind of stuff. And then if it is not solved in third email interaction, it's a serious issue. So that's how we do performance analysis. Okay. Today, it is a bit manual. Okay. And we use all these interactions to gain insights into few things. One is how our product is designed, whether the product is designed in the right way to address the issues. So in fact, I think yesterday or today, KissFlow's CEO Suresh Samadam had tweeted about an ICICI website issue where he said there's a UX issue. The customer by mistake is clicking on some other button instead of clicking somewhere else. These things matter. So this is an unnecessary call for the customer, waste of time for him. We are unnecessarily occupying our customer support engineer. So we focus a lot on how the product is designed, how the customer service agent is helping them. So this is how today it's predominantly manual. And we also use a bit of intelligence in our product when it comes to, I will not claim artificial intelligence or machine intelligence for sure, even though we have applied for a patent, it's not at happening now. We have built a bit of intelligence in the product to guide the user on what the problems could be.
Okay. Okay.
That's how we are now working with them. And I think I will leave
Okay.
to
Yeah.
Jesu,
Yeah.
who may have a lot of experience on this.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Let's hear from Jesu and then, yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Prakash. Thank you for that. So, from the tools or systems that we use, we predominantly work. We are a B2B organization, StartWatch. So, we've built these platforms to sit amongst the customer touch points. So, pretty much, how do I elevate the customer experience of the experience of a given customer? Is that whenever they contact us, whenever they reach out, you gave an example at the beginning of this call. Right. So what is that? The agent has to be empowered with information. One. The second, there's someone, it'll be great to have a mentor on every call, sitting next to you saying, hey, this is a call, this is the particular issue, the solution is here. So a very robust knowledge base that you can depend upon, because as a customer, when I'm calling with the problem statement or an issue, I expect that issue to be resolved quickly, right? Or support to be delivered. And I have whatever I call for, it has to be closed. So now, as an agent sitting on this side, am I empowered, or do I have access to the entire history of the customer, the complete transactions, or similar issues that already existed? No. Today's we do use CRMs like Salesforce, like Zoho, and of course you can do a case search, right? So, but again, from an augmented perspective, is he augmented with enough tools or systems? That is something that we have to work on a lot, because our customers pretty much run enterprise tech support. They are OEMs and ISVs. They have switches, they have access points, they do have telecom products. So now for that tech support, a platform is deployed. So building a solution that bridges the gap between the CRM and the telecom, and bridges the gap from the process side by empowering the agent with much more information that's from the history of the contact center, or the history of such similar issues. That is something that was we focused on. So one of the key areas, the tools needed to have, to track the delivery and performance, like automated case documentation. So now during a call, what takes most of my time, or if I want to audit a call, is that as an agent, I keep documenting the case, and it will be a great support if there is some system that can automatically do some documentation for me as an agent. Right. So that is something that we really worked on, and that's one of the products that we have. But again, so the delivery and performance is case documentation is one area that we needed to have tools, alerts and notifications in the event when there is a customer talking and I interrupt. A system can to elevate the customer's, a customer while he's talking. If he's repeatedly getting interrupted by the agent, there is a chance that the customer is not going to be happy about it, and he's going to score you down. Yeah. And that said, is there a live ability for the system to intervene and say, do not interrupt the customer, or your rate of speech is very higher, or you're providing a solution that's 80% deviant from the actual knowledge base? So is there a system like that? So those are some of the tools and systems that we really invested and worked on to primarily improve our FCR rates, the first contact resolution rates, the deposition of the issue to the action time, providing the solution to reduce the turnaround time for that. And again, you're looking at the industry with net promoter scores and even employee satisfaction scores. As you said, the first agent, the level 1 agent, didn't have all the information handy. But if the information all was handy, when I close, like when I pick up 10 calls and I'm able to close 10 calls straight there, that gives me a better experience even as an employee. So as an agent, right, solving issues. And so those are some of the areas that we worked on, and simplifying the user journeys, right from contacting when the call lands on the desk, I pick up and I get to know what the customer is, what does he purchase from me, what is that previous history of his journey, right? So, and again, simplifying the current journey with all that information. So the providing the information on a single screen, and enabling him, providing him all the information that can reduce the escalations. Right.
Okay.
So if I'm not satisfied, you have to wait for an L2 or an L3 to reach out to you. So
Yeah.
rather than that, an L1 engineer, again, it's only information. So if the L1 is empowered with an information that an L2 has reached to, is going to provide that particular access to them. So the learning stage, the learning curve for the L1 as well as for the customer experience scores is going to be better, and is an earlier resolution provided, right?
Yeah.
While on the call, again, if the AI can augment the agent sitting beside him on the call like a mentor and tell him this particular issue, 87%, this is the knowledge article that actually can resolve this issue, right? So that empowers the particular agent to give that solution, right? So while sitting as an agent, can I put my one thought into CRM? Can I go into knowledge articles, search parallelly, and delay the
Yeah.
entire, or if it loads up on the screen? So such tools is what we worked on, and such tools is what we saw provided a lot of reduction of I would say escalation metrics, customer escalations, customer dropping off the call, or requesting for they're not interested to continue the call anymore. So all that dropped off a lot, and at the end of the day, the area that we work with B2B enterprise technical support is where customers pay for support. It's not free support too. So
Okay.
when there is a payment that a customer makes for taking this enterprise grade support, and when there is a cost involved, I have to pay for my own support, and that's the area where we have to provide the best of customer experience, right? And not necessarily that you always have to cover, but again, there has to be more tools and mechanisms, and every dollar of the customer counts, and that's where our solutions matter. And
Yeah.
also tools that also covers your auditing and compliance, like analyzing your speech. Where did you go wrong? The customer called in with a very bad mood, but again, how you assuage the situation and
Yeah.
brought them up. So compliance monitoring, all done in real time. So that is one area that we worked on, and those are the tools that really impact CX at a grand level. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, very true. Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah, so yeah, Prakash, like you were mentioning earlier, so you were trying to improve the calls, as you after 2 emails, making a call, right? So that's a more logical thing to do, right? Even though we are talking about a lot of different channels, the younger generation, for example, so they are more used to swiping a screen, or like a touch of thing, magic happens for them, or it's chatting and things like that. At the end of the day, whatever you do, nothing beats a voice, meaning right, the best can be face to face, eye to eye contact, and ask a question and then get an answer, right? And the next best thing is a voice, right? Because where you can hear other person's pain, you are not hearing just a problem, you are hearing the emotion, right? You are understanding other side is a human being, and they have a real problem. And so there is no reason for anybody to take time to talk to us if everything what they wanted is already there for them, right? And so we all have to remember that, and that's the best strategy. So yeah, so that's because that's what is going to make a difference for us as an industry, and that's exactly what we have to do to provide the best class of service, to retain the customers in the long term. Because given the scenario that there are there is going to be a lot more products with all similar features and all different right, price points and
Exactly.
everything.
Yes.
Right? That's the best way to keep the differentiation. So yeah.
We
So
we actually pride in it, Uttam, and we are actually pride in it that, see, in our domain, if you look at it, the requirement is the same for me as well as my competitors. There is no difference.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no difference. The difference is in terms of usability and customer experience.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that's where we have to make all the difference. So we'll now move on to the second discussion point. So here, what is this is going to be for you, Prakash. So what kind of a quality monitoring programs do you use? What are the objectives of quality monitoring? Does it allow you to identify specific areas of opportunities for the individuals and the organization to grow? Can you give some examples?
Sure. So again, see, we have to sift through like what Jace was mentioning about a lead or a monitor sitting alongside this L1 support guy, customer support. We sift through the conversations when it happens in mails. The customer support lead actually watches every mail. Thankfully, we don't have thousands of mails a day. So it's possible for us right now. For us, it's possible. So we sift through the mails and see when it comes to quality, whether there is a gap in the L1 support person's knowledge or understanding of the product, or is it truly an issue in the product? We look at it that. So if it is if there is a gap, for sure, yes, we give knowledge transfer, we explain the product and all that to everybody for that matter. But still there will be gaps, because at the end the customer might be working on a Windows 10 where probably they are working on a Mac machine and we may not even know that he's working on a Mac machine. So things like that. For us in India, it's not very many people use Mac, but our customers are in US, so they may be facing an issue we have not even seen. So which means we have to start doing our product testing on a Mac machine. So again, coming back, it is all insights from my perspective. We look at the insights in terms of what the customer is asking for, what we have responded with, and then how we are storing that knowledge. How we store that knowledge. Jason was talking about that he will give feed from different perspectives to the user. The challenge for us is when it comes to that, we don't want that to be an information overload. When we have, if I give 10 options even to the customer support engineer or the user, they anyway is going to come back to me and say, what should I do now? So the challenge is that. So I will tell you now, I don't have a solution yet, but we are working towards it. We are working towards to bring it down from 10 to 3. That's the immediate objective. So that's the immediate objective. The quality perspective, mails, finding out whether there is a gap in our support engineer or the product, and then that gets added into a knowledge base. This is what is our quality management process.
Yeah, thanks, Prakash. So let's move to the next one. The third discussion point is this is for you, Jesu. Most call centers record their calls and screens while addressing customer needs. What do you do with those recordings? Do you run any analytics engine to gain insights from the recordings? Can you share some live examples of how you have made use of these recordings?
That's a fantastic question. All right, thank you for that. In a given contact center where I'm giving a live example here, in an enterprise tech support scenario where the customer pays for his support because he has purchased a layer 2 switch that runs his network, and then he opens up a case, a CRM ticket that's a priority 1 because it has to be restored in about it's a downtime, so it has to be restored. In that scenario, he makes a call, and the case is automatically the case is created by the agent. It lands automatically on the help desk. Someone picks up the call. Once the call is done, the call is recorded. So there are 2 ways to do this. One is that from a quality perspective, what you have to look at is the compliance and auditing, right from the soft skills. Whether the agent spoke to in the right, because usually we have soft skill analysts who open up an Excel sheet and then say, was the welcome script read? Was the right introduction done? Was the email address collected correctly? So they have a series of questions that they need to answer yes, no by listening to the particular call after it is recorded. Once that is done, that is a soft skills part. But again, technical audit, if it's a tech support, if it's a process audit, the scenarios where Prakash is, it's like it's payments, right? So such very sensitive areas that we operate in. There's a process, like monitored, the data captured or analyzed accurately. You need to really have somebody to do that. So that particular auditing part and compliance part becomes a cost center. Generally, it's a cost center because our traditional stack of the revenue center is one part. But again, from a support, when you add this compliance and quality auditing tools and things like that, we usually do it manually. So there is a manpower that we define the process, we define the template of how they have to be audited on the particular call once the call is recorded. Now, the challenge, call recorders are many. We have many call recorders, enterprise grade, and any cloud PBX today also offers you, lossless audio, real good quality, call recording now. So now we have to deploy a separate set of manpower. The tool itself we use is manpower, the process, and the audit form. Be it technical audit, be it process audit, be it the soft skills audit. Now, we were empowered, we were exposed to such challenges working for our pretty large customers. And so in the likes I'm talking about very large OEMs and ISVs. There, we really need to look at automating that. So our solution sits there and then it picks up the audio. If it is going to be a reactive model, where after the call is done, the recording is there in that particular ecosystem, it takes it, it analyzes that on soft skills, process compliance, and that's the entire QA process as such. And also the technical audit, was the right resolution provided? Because one of the key areas is speech to text here. Because now as an engineer, what we do as an agent, now imagine that Prakash is the customer, you are the customer. Your voice is not captured in my system, in my CRM. I write my perception as an agent. Now you may say, Prakash may say to me, Jesu, what is this? This is really a bad product and I'm not, this is not. So I will translate his emotion and say, the customer is upset. That's it. Right. So my perception is what goes into the CRM. My perception, what is getting analyzed by all the analytic systems. But am I harvesting the voice of the customer? I do not. So that was a big challenge that we had to overcome. So with this recording, again, it's just a soft skill form, but again, we convert that completely into a transcript, and the transcript is audited by the AI in line with the soft skills, the process, and the technical audits. So yes, we have those tools that are in place today that that has literally transformed, because we get to know what the customer feels and phrase by phrase. And one of the big challenges here is that how do I do it in real time? Because audio part, yeah, great. You record it and do that. But can that intervention be done in a real time? So that is one of the biggest challenges in the industry. We still have not perfected that solution in the market, by any player. But again, we are there at the point, at the front end of doing that, where in real time, as I explained earlier, like you as a customer, and then I interrupt you, the system prompts and says, don't interrupt. Or while on the call, while I talk, the system listens to the audio of the customer and says, these are the possible response and solution. So like say, for example, if it is a AAA issue, an authentication issue on an access point, these are the top 3 articles that have done 95% of the resolutions. It pops up on its screen. So that makes me as an agent, makes me as an agent to drive better quality scores. Right. So auditing is key, automatic auditing. Now, if I deploy a small team that audits all the conversations, all the audio files, I need to put up the agent, the quality agent has to put the earphones, listen to every single call, mark it. So that it means that it takes the entire duration of the entire call. Now, in enterprise support, it's 1.5 hours, 2 hours per call, or at least 60 minutes. Now, we have to have a parallel team to do 100% of the auditing, which is not possible. So generally auditing is done only dipstick. So is there a way tools can do 100% of the auditing autonomously? So we were able to kind of break through the solution there, and we do 100% of audits for our customers. So that has helped us achieve some real fantastic CX scores, because now we get to not miss even a single conversation. We have the entire transcript audited on emotions, the mood of the customer, and also where it in real time intervenes and guides the particular agent into driving a better resolution. And if the customer is really angry, really angry, so we can actually see his mood swing come down. We have a dashboard that. So those are some of the tools that has helped us and helped our customers drive down. So yes, yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Yeah, that's very.
Jesu, so sorry to interrupt you, man.
Yes, Prakash.
Whatever Jesu said, it brings back my memory. My father will be very happy to listen to this because I used to assist him in the ice cream parlor. He used to teach me smile at the customer first, say thanks when he pays for it. So
Yeah.
that was easy for a father to teach a son. But then, like you said, then online assessment and giving feedback online immediately, such a challenging job. Very interesting, Jason. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, Uttam, please go ahead.
Yeah, no, it is definitely like there's a hard part of the puzzle like an industry is trying to solve now, right? So there are a lot of challenges, and there's going to be a lot more challenges in terms of how to perfect it, how to make sure what the suggestions are given are more appropriate, and how do you audit that, and how the agent perceiving that help, all that has to be perfected. So we are just beginning that journey now, so yeah, it's a long way to go. So the next discussion point, right? So both of you can share your thought process on this. So often we tend to police the activities of reps by pushing them too hard without enabling them to address customer needs. They are under tremendous pressure to reduce their AHTs and offer first call resolutions. However, most call centers don't provide the agents with the necessary tools or empower them to take actions. What is your take on this? And how do you think, how do you look at this? This whole
Jesu,
situation.
please. I think you can do it. Jesu. I'll add that later. Sure.
Okay. Okay. So I just lost a little bit of the question. If you can state it again.
So we often tend to police the activities of reps by pushing
Yes.
them too hard without enabling them to address customer needs, right? They are under tremendous pressure to reduce their AHTs and offer first call resolutions. However, most call centers don't provide the agents with the necessary tools or empower them to take actions. What is your take on this, and how do you look at this scenario?
Absolutely, that's weighing down very heavily upon. I started also part of my career. I was doing tech support, for enterprise tech support. So L1, L2, and I've come through that cycle. So when I'm sitting on a call, my expectation is sitting with a telephone. On the telephone, the queue will ring. There'll be like 6 calls in queue. The pressure comes from the operations leader saying, "Hey, there are 7 calls in queue. What do you guys close the call?" So we are also gauged on productivity and also the quality of support that we render on every call. I know there is a queue, so the pressure is pretty high. We are sitting on even when you cook food, you cook on one stove, but again when you do, that too in your odd or graveyard shifts and all, and full of pressure, we're sitting on like 5 different burners. I know,
Yeah.
that's a very difficult thing, and the pressure is very high. In fact, so. Uh, uh, but do I have the tools to do that? I would love to have tools as an agent. Like very simple things are like knowledge base articles. So knowledge base articles that can help me drive a better resolution. So do we have the right knowledge base article? Just not text, but again, citation driven knowledge base article. Say, for example, if there is a knowledge base base system that has the industry standard of KCS applied, where a similar question by the customer and 97 such questions were answered by this particular citation. Like, so for one article, this article solved 300 questions, 300 customer problems, this 287. So we need, so do we have the knowledge base and the article base has to be strong if I am coming in and the pressure is high, because for me to do all the R&D and writing to understand, but if there's a KB base that is like very mature, search friendly, that would certainly help me a lot. Second is that, as Prakash said, sitting along with the agent, the agent needs a proper mentorship, right?
Yeah.
And putting him in the middle of the ocean is fine, but again, does he have a lifeboat? Does he have a paddle to steer himself through? Or rather than you wanting him to use his hands to swim through the ocean, not like that. But again, these tools help, right? So now case documentation is one area, right? So what we've done After 2 years of R&D is like that really, that's something that we really wanted to do, automatic case documentation. Today we do that for our customers. So while on the call, all I need to ask is the right questions to the customer and the documentation. Otherwise, what I do is, Prakash, I'll place you on hold. Utman, I'll place you on hold. Can you repeat the question? Can you repeat? So what is so the time
Yeah.
that is taken to document and triage? The triage is in the sense I put authentication issue, product, and the firmware and all that. That takes a lot of time, and pressure is on the time. So productivity and quality. So and now the investments that every organization makes is KB is a separate investment, telecom is a separate investment, CRM is a separate investment, and I now have 17 different windows, right? And I need to so of course there's a lot of pressure. So that was one areas that working with our customers, B2B customers, that was one area that we really had to tide over, and it was challenging because customer A would be investing into 3 different CRMs, customer B into different telecoms, right? And there is a merger happening, then we'll have to work with 2 different ecosystems. So the challenge is very heavy, even from a system perspective, right? And as an agent, we know that the question itself has the pain of that. So that is where we elevate our platform. We worked hard for the last 4 years to come up with solutions that sit amongst all that, gather all the information, connect to the knowledge base. That will be a system. It will be great to have a tool that connects to knowledge base articles while on the call, pop up the right resolutions, right? 90%, this is the right resolution. On automatically document the case, right? And if I'm being a little more, if I'm excited too much and they say, hold on, Uthman, let me talk and things like that. So someone to be beside me and tell me, hey, don't interrupt, right? Your rate of speech is very high. That doesn't drive a good CX. So those are the challenges that we have. And yeah, we have the tools, fortunately, for that today in the market. And we've been one of the forerunners doing that. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay,
So from my point, see, like I said, we are a B2B customer. We are B2B business. So what happens is we train the guys more like shadow support in the first place. So when there is a support request, a new engineer is also assigned the support in the backend for them to watch how it is being treated, how the customer is being asked, what sort of issues are being, what sort of logs are being asked, how it is analyzed. So shadow experience gives them a lot of confidence in approaching a solution in the first place. Second is what we do is we have an advantage. The products are qualified by the payment schemes like MasterCard, Visa, and so on. So 90% of the time, we have the confidence there is no product problem in the tool. It is more like, say, our product is being used by the customer to test somebody else's product. So we are confident that when they come to us, we will say, we don't have, of course, we don't say that we are confident that it's not our problem. Of course, it's not always the case. So what happens is we actually end up telling our customer that this is not our problem. So we have to say that nicely because the other players, we are only a testing company there. So you have huge companies, they're offering, let's say, a host-based solution or a terminal solution, who just put up their hands and say, it's not my problem. So we have to go in between and prove to them, this is not my problem. So it needs a lot of technical knowledge. So the L1 guy is supposed to actually find, see, it's not only with installation kind of issues, it's straightforward, it's addressable. But the L1 guy should know when to escalate. That's where the challenge is for us. And then it should make sense. And the product is developed in such a way, qualified in such a way that we reduce the customer support calls. We instead of having more customer support engineers, we focus on how to reduce customer support activities. That's the approach we have.
Absolutely. And that's the right thing to do. So, okay, so the next, we'll move to the next one. So this is for you, Jesu. So we keep hearing that employee experience is as important as customer experience. How relevant is this in a call center environment? Do we put our agents first and ensure that they are happy doing what they do? What systems and process should we put in place to enhance the EX and thereby the CX? is
Okay.
our ultimate goal.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, great question there. So, to have a happy customer, you need to first have an happy agent, right? And an agent that is empowered and to provide the solutions. Imagine it's in hospital.
Yeah.
I'm not going too far, but again, healthcare. I need to have all the tools to treat my patients, right? So when people come with issues on a contact center, I need to have all the tools as an agent to solve that, and that gives me satisfaction. Now, I do not want customers to tell me you're not solve my problem. Neither do I want to be in a position where I'm not able to access information, that I'm not able to render a proper support. So employee experience is paramount, and you need to put the tools and process and systems in place to drive ESAT, employee satisfaction, so that that's reflective. It's like a domino. The ESAT is good, and then if it's bad, then it falls on the customer satisfaction and customer experience. So, and if there is somebody who can tell me what I need to learn, what I need to understand better, and by analyzing all my calls, or which is the correct, not because I may not know what I have to learn when I'm dealing with particular issue, right? But again, with the high experience of all my subject matter experts and the operations leaders there, if they are equipped with the data that what I do, they'll be able to train me right, and with the necessary tools to search and other things. So we've come up with an agent scorecard that automatically gets generated, because engineer KPIs, the key KPI skills mapping that we do, the system does. In fact, by looking at JSU as for an example, is not good in installation issues. So can I go ahead and so that scorecard comes just by the system mapping a skill on a, so all my installation issues while I'm on the call, the particular the system analyzes that I take a long time. I put multiple pauses. I kind of intervene. I put pause and then go. So there's a lot of hold time in the call. So system analyzes and says this particular JSU as an agent is not able to address installation issues. Now, will I be satisfied if I understand installation and I'm able to provide a better solution? Yes, I will be. So agent assist is very key in real time or in coaching by rendering a particular coaching module of sorts that gathers all what I do and then provides a scorecard for me where my seniors can come and train me on. And one other area is instead of listening and then I go search multiple things, a live KB prompting that helps. So agent experience is paramount. If my support or the way I talk to my customer is guided in some way, not necessarily a human being. If it is done in the system, great. And then so that I go to a fast path resolution, right? I kind of achieve my resolution very quickly. So is there tools and systems that drive me fast path my resolution? So those are something that really matters. And these are the tools that we've deployed to for our own selves as well as for our customers as part of they buy our product. So they subscribe to our platform. So they get all these features there as such. But employee satisfaction is paramount. That's the first piece. And once that is done, and that comes in with the right process, right tools, right training, and right understanding what the agent needs. So, and that falls on and gives you a better CX, obviously. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the right tool and empowering them and making sure they are happy is ultimately is going to translate into a better CX. So yeah. Thanks for that, Jesu. So that brings us to the last discussion point to you, Prakash. So what kind of performance tools do you use? How have you put them to use? Can you take us through the journey of enhancing agent performance in your organization, thereby enhancing CX? We would like to hear some pointers on how this can be practically implemented for the audience. Yeah.
Okay. See. Okay. So I'll just add one point here. One is when we talk about Jesu had a lot to share about the EX, employee satisfaction. See, in our domain, in our support, what we do is we involve product owners, we involve test consultants, we involve product testers to be part of the customer support. Okay. So it's not that customer support guys are only touch points. So the touch points are also internal product owners, testers, as well as consultants. Why the other gentlemen or ladies are also happy about it is increases their experience. It's not about supporting somebody who's lost. They actually gain something about what is a field knowledge. In fact, when they work with a bank about talking about a host problem or a terminal problem, they get to learn. So they go back to their jobs, a learned person, something educated person about, okay, there, it could be a problem this way. So ultimately the product becomes better. So to answer your question, about qualities, again, about we measure only in terms of how fast it was solved, in how many iterations it was solved. We take a report from Jira kinds right now. We just look at how fast it was solved. You have the report from Jira Service Support, which talks about it took 2 days or 3 days. See, we really don't look at SLA in the sense that, of course, we have agreed on SLA days with customer, but we cannot go by that. So by that days, 3 days, 4 days, nobody's going to wait for them, for me. So we analyze based on resolution time and then the quality of resolution. Second, the third point, what we do is, was there somebody else needed to support this person is another. So let's say L2 person is looking at a problem, and let's say the L3 guy comes and says it's really not a problem in our side, then there is some gap in L2. Yeah. So there's some. So we look at it, we take it as an opportunity and then to do training and fine tune our training. At the end, we always look at the root cause. That's how we work. We look at where the issue is. Is it really with the person or our training or the product? So ultimately, if you look at it, the customer experience from our point is insights. We look at things. That's the key word I will re-emphasize every time you ask me a question. So then based on that, we enhance our training or the product and so on. So report from Jira is the key. Okay. Yeah. So that brings us to the on the discussion point. So with that, so we will now proceed to the audience questions and so clarifications, whatever you may have. So audience, please send us a text or in the chat, or you can raise hand and then you can ask the questions directly to the panelists. So while they are getting prepared, so I would like to use this time to thank Prakash and Jesu for taking your time from the busy day and being part of this panel and answering many of our discussion points and clarifying and sharing your experience. So I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you very much. And we look forward to have you part of our future sessions as well. Okay, so thanks so much. And so we'll wait to hear some of the questions and then we can clarify our audiences now. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. My pleasure. So any questions so far? There's some questions coming up in the chat. I'm sure some of my colleagues are there, and I'm hoping they're not going to ask me questions. Maybe they're going to use this opportunity.
Hi, everyone. Hello, sir. Good evening. So my question is, now is technology is increased and everybody wants to have a omni-channel support, in their customer service, right? So in your opinion, which channel is better to when you compare with chatbot or AI tools, and comparing with voice voice. Which is the channel is better, in your opinion, to achieve the best customer service? Because I personally gone through some of the channels, chats and all. I felt it is taking more information from us, but it is not giving the resolution, and then instead of that, again I have to wait to connect to representative, live representative.
Yeah, it's a good question. So Jason, you are
all right.
Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, that's a very good question, though. The way we are participating in this forum is because we want to see each other. We want to experience our emotion, the pace, the way we articulate things, we speak, we hear you out. So as a human being, I need someone I can talk to, I can connect to. I would love to be if it is video, right? But at the same time, Again, technology investments and other costs and everything matters. So audio is, I would say, is the least that we can provide to a customer, right? So in the sense, chat becomes a bot, right? Today we have chatbots, and some people like to do their own support, like DIY. They'll go into FAQs or knowledge-based articles and then solve their own problems. Right? So there are a few like that. But again, when I want an engagement, I really need an engagement. I really need to connect to somebody. And one more thing is that in text, say, for example, let's take Utman now and say, hi, Utman, good morning. How are you? It's great. Again, I go and say, hi, Utman, good morning. How are you? So now if you take a text perspective, the same text, but I'm missing out on the emotion part, right? And the way I convey the very mentality that I'm. So the first part was exciting and very happy to meet Utman. The second part is, why did Utman ever come? Right. So there are two things there, right? So now only with an audio can you at least capture that, right? So now if you deny yourself the ability to record conversations and look into conversations, I'm only left with the text, and that doesn't give you a complete customer experience, right? So I would say voice as the best way, factoring, capturing all the mood and emotions as well as the context and everything. Audio would be the best way. Video will maybe the greatest part, but again, depends upon the investments that the organizations would love to make.
Yeah.
We gained the customer because they said your support is good. Just a few weeks back, the customer, when we asked them, why did you choose us? They said, we have bought other products from you, and from the market we hear your support is good. I recall once, at least 15 years back, when I was in Paris, I was impatiently waiting. There was one old couple in the hotel reservation counter. I have to rush to the airport, and there was an elderly couple standing there for 10 minutes or so with the receptionist there. I became restless and I was trying to jump in. I will never forget the instance where the receptionist told me, just wait, let me finish with them. So that person had that clarity and decency to wait and serve that old couple, even though they were taking more time. So that's what I believe is more important. You try to get a support from a Google or an Apple, you will know the difference. There is somebody certainly calling you, waiting patiently for you to set up your system. They are not in a hurry. They are not saying, can you do it fast? Nothing. They're saying, take your time. I have personally, yesterday when I was talking to Google about some support, they immediately said, do you want us to call you or chat with you? When I said call, they immediately called and they were able to sort out the issue. I completely agree with Jesu. Voice, I think. The rest of the tools can actually help us to get the inputs and data to support the customer, but nothing beats a human being.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jesu and Prakash.
Okay, thanks. Okay, any other questions?
Yes, this is Ramki. Have a question. I'm audible, right?
Yep, you are.
Yeah.
Okay. So when it comes to contact center recording tools, various tools are available in the market like Variant or Nice or Calabrio, and there is a tool from Cisco also on the quality monitoring. But when it comes to industry standard and proven thing with a lot of features which provides scalability, which provides robustness for me, which one you recommend? Because there are like a lot of tools lying in the market. Which one the forum recommends?
I think it should be Jesu's solution.
Yeah.
So recording is a very different area where you can have a simple recording, right? So, but again, if you're looking at analyzing a voice and coming up with a lot of information, because now there are multiple things. While the call recorders that you mentioned, like Nice, were and all fantastic recorders, and so, but again, it's not the tool that matters. It's what you capture on it, right? So, what is the quality of what the data capture? Now, if I'm looking at, I take my phone and then I speak and record my voice. It is not an enterprise grade recording. So it is not a bi-channel recording. It does not have all the frequencies that go with it. Now, the entire recording that I can do on my WhatsApp will be maybe like 1 MB, maybe for a 2-3 minute maximum. But the enterprise grade recording, the volume of data that is stored there is higher because it is lossless. Lossless in
Yeah.
the sense you capture also the grunts and the emotional wavelengths also. I mean, in the sense it's not something. I mean, I would say like if you having a data with a lot of loss, you can't extract emotional feedback that has gone into the system. Right. So I want to say my emotion, like, was I happy? And I say, hi, Utman, hi, Prakash. So that kind of that vibe, right? So that kind of it has to be a lossless audio, bi-channel, and all the recorders today have the capability to do that. It's how you configure it, right? So the configuration sense, in the sense, configure for lossless, configure for bi-channel recording. One channel is completely customer, the other channel is your agent part. All that helps, right? So there's no major difference between them, very few. But again, I would say if you're looking at analyzing audio with an AI system like what we do, these are some of the higher frequencies, lossless and other things. That's what you look at. So not making a recommendation, but recommending a better configuration in all the recorders that you already invested into. Because a platform like ours, we work with all the players, with Verint, with Nice, with now Cloud PBX, TCN, everybody have their own recording that is there. So all you need to do is a good configuration, good recording. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay. Not anything, then we'll close the session. So so thanks Prakash and Jesu for taking your valuable time and being with us. So look forward to being in association with you in some of the future sessions. So thanks audience for being patiently listening to us and giving us all your support. And so look forward to meeting with all of you in future sessions. So have a good evening and thank you all so much.
Thanks, Utman. Thanks, Jesu.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Utman.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
all.
Thank you.